What if I told you the greatest video game of all time, in my opinion, is getting a remake and it is looking spectacular? And I want to introduce this to my community and also do giveaways for it. So make sure you leave a comment. I will be selecting winners and announcing them on the videos. But man, I got a big breakdown, some top tier news that happened a few days ago for Metal Gear. They had a show that they're going to consistently do that is called HOTLINE Productions, Metal Gear HOTLINE Productions to be exact. And they had a couple of the producers and developers on the show, which I thought was pretty cool. And basically they sat down with them and broke some things down, gave us some actually good reveals on what to expect and things going forward, which is really nice and something that I'm excited for. We're going to dive into what they said and give you just an overview recap so you can get the smaller, quicker version of it all. First thing I want to talk about is the fact that they are taking the community's feedback very seriously. In fact, they displayed a bunch of different comments. Some of them weren't exactly very nice. As you know, the communities can get a little crazy, but they were open to reveal that. And I thought that was important for the sake of the game, right? You want to be able to connect with developers, give them feedback, what you like, what you dislike, what you think needs work, and so on. And they do have a survey I'll put into the comments. It is for Japan only, but I'm going to put it in there anyways. And this is a piece of the survey that they showcased. They showcased a bunch of other things. And on the right side is how did they like the last episode and do you want to see more? And it was mostly positive on that. And then on the, I'm sorry about that. On this side, right side, this is where it gets interesting. They do talk about things that they want to talk about in the future. And they bring up, of course, MetalGearSolid Delta. They bring up updates to the Master Collection and developer questions and so on. But the main two things I want you guys to focus on is the Master Collection Volume 2 and plans for MGO. For those that don't know, the Master Collection is basically an amazing, awesome thing that Konami has given us. Very amazing when it comes to the collection of their best games. They put the top 5 first games that they released into one collection. And now they announced basically a volume 2 possibly, and all the information there hasn't been revealed, but the fact that they're putting that into the schedule for the future to discuss it is very important. Same thing with Metal Gear Online. If you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of Metal Gear Online, and the game is so much fun. Part 2 specifically was the best, and just to imagine the future of a 4K 120 frames per second type of Metal Gear experience would be spectacular. And you're watching a couple of clips of the most recent one, but yeah, so I do have coverage of all this and Metal Gear, a very dedicated channel strictly for Metal Gear, so you guys can head over there also. But just wanted to announce some of that. And so I do break that down and get into details. We're not going to dive into the online portion too much today, but I just wanted to discuss it a little bit. They did reveal some amazing stuff. As you guys know, I like modern games. I don't mind retro games. Their nostalgia is amazing, but I love new mechanics. I love innovative, I love intuitive experiences. And as you can see here, they have the traditional, which is called the legacy style, which is over the top camera from the original game. But for me personally, I absolutely want the new modern version, which you're seeing here, which is going to be the third person, which we all know from a lot of video games. So it's going to be a more intuitive, a better experience for those who are new to the series or just want the modern experience as well. But if you're like me and you're an old head as far as the classics, this is the classic right here. I love that as well. So they kind of presented it and showcased some footage so you can see which side you want. Then they have these pictures here or just images of what the game could look like. This is the natural raw game. People wanted filters like the original had, the more yellow color, which is the last one that you're going to see, and I'll pause it on it. It's called Legacy Filter, and this is the more traditional yellow greenish style, which gave it the 80s look. And I don't mind that either, but like I said, it's not everything that you need. Now we're going to get into another cool thing that they previewed. There's a survival cure menu, aka wounded system, and the original did not have this type of graphics. I mean, this is spectacular, guys. You look at Snake, and what they talked about as we watch this is that if you get shot, you're gonna have a bullet hole through your clothing. It can tear through your clothing. You're not gonna just magically heal and it's gonna disappear. It's gonna be there permanently throughout the whole game, and all of your wounds will end up showing up throughout the game, which I think is spectacular because it's gonna be pretty funny to see how people will actually play their games and go through that process. And so a couple of things to note that I've really loved from the actual conversation with these guys is that they actually didn't stray away being told that the series was dead. And one of the producers, this man right here, Nori is what I call him, he actually said that, hey, we're doing our best, we're going to give our all, we want your feedback, we want you to be honest with us. He said that, and he talked about, you know, carrying the torch and trying to make sure that the series continues, and the best way, of course, is through that. And so as you can see, they had a lot of community feedback, a lot of key information. Very cool for them to just read off information. Then they had a bunch of collector's edition type of items as far as the vinyls and other trinkets and things like that you can purchase. And it was a good show, very good show in my opinion, and I'm excited to see how far this will go when it comes to the consistency. The last time they did it was in March, which was literally 2 months ago, but they did have all the E3 stuff happening, so they did do some other shows. I believe from now on we'll get once a month of this show consistently so that people can get some goods. And so I'm just kind of showcasing some of what they put out and giving you guys little teasers of what they presented and things like that. But yeah, it's an exciting time for what this game is going to be. You got to understand that this game has been such a masterful game, and the fact that they're bringing it back, they're staying true to the legacy, meaning it's a faithful recreation. They're not going to ruin it by changing the story or changing the overall experience. From what we've seen, everything is a recreation and not hurting the game, in which that's all I care for as a fan when it comes to remakes. And I'm not that big on remakes for every game, but if it is a true masterpiece and it's 20 plus years old, why not? And so that's kind of where I stand with this one. And since it's my favorite series and this is possibly the greatest game in the world, I think that there's a debate to this being that big of a game of the year candidate as well. So it's definitely possible. And I do want to touch on like my personal enthusiasm for the online experience. It's such a cool time, and this is kind of part 3's trailer for the online, and it's a unique experience, guys. You think about shooters, whether first person or third person, Metal Gear has such unique elements. You have a lot of non-lethal routes that you can do. You have tons of stealth style play, and then you have all these tools. You have CQC, which is hand-to-hand combat, where you can grab someone, use them as a shield, or, you know, slam them to the ground. And there's so many different things in this game as far as modes as well that makes it very special. And I believe that if the next one is executed properly, it'll take over the internet, because now we have more exposure and people will actually say, wow, this actually is a lot of fun and it's interesting. And so personally, I'll cover this as well because it's literally my favorite series in all of gaming. So very exciting times, to say the least. That was pretty much the core news, but you can expect more information on the Master Collection Volume 2 in the near future. I will be covering that on this channel as well as my main Metal Gear channel. All right, this is my dedicated channel for Metal Gear. That's how much I love the series. You should head over there because I do have some breakdowns. They're going to be popping up on the screen where you can get more information and go from there. We appreciate you guys. Go ahead and lock in for that giveaway. I also am giving away Assassin's Creed Shadows in the channel, so very exciting for both games. See you guys in the comments. Peace.